We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
When John F. Kennedy made that passionate speech at Rice University in 1962, he set America on a path to land on the moon only 7 years later. The Apollo program, initiated by NASA in the 1960s, stands as one of the greatest achievements in human history. The vision to land a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth before the end of the 1960s seemed inconceivable at the time. The Apollo missions represented a pinnacle of scientific and engineering innovation.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Over the course of the program, there were 6 successful manned landings on the lunar surface, each one pushing the boundaries of human exploration. Let's delve into the incredible journey of mankind's first steps on the lunar surface through the Apollo missions. Apollo 1. Tragically, on January 27, 1967, a cabin fire during a pre-launch test claimed the lives of astronauts Virgil Gus Grissom, Edward H. White II, and Roger B. Chaffee. Originally designated AS-204, Apollo 1 was intended to be the first crewed mission of the Apollo program. The mission was planned to be launched atop a Saturn IB rocket, which was part of the Saturn family of rockets developed by NASA for the Apollo program. The accident led to a comprehensive review of safety protocols and spacecraft design, resulting in significant changes to ensure the safety of future missions. Launched on July 16, 1969, Apollo 11 carried astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. On July 20, 1969, Neil Armstrong became the first human to set foot on the lunar surface, followed by Buzz Aldrin.
The surface appears to be very, very fine-grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder. Ground mass is very fine. I'm going to step off the limb. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Oh, that looks beautiful from here.
Armstrong's iconic words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," echoed around the world as humanity achieved an unprecedented milestone. Apollo 12. Launched on November 14, 1969, Apollo 12 carried astronauts Charles Pete Conrad, Alan L. Bean, and Richard F. Gordon Jr. Despite a lightning strike during launch that temporarily knocked out onboard systems, the mission successfully landed on the moon's ocean of storms. Alan Bean accidentally destroyed a TV camera by pointing it directly at the sun, temporarily interrupting live broadcast from the moon. Apollo 13.
Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here. This is Houston. Say again, please. Houston, we've had a problem. We've had a main beam plus undervolt. Roger, main beam undervolt. Okay, stand by, 13. We're looking at it.
Launched on April 11, 1970, Apollo 13 was launched using the Saturn V rocket. Carried astronauts James A. Lovell Jr., John L. Swigert Jr., and Fred W. Hayes Jr. The mission was intended to land on the moon but was aborted after an oxygen tank explosion severely damaged the spacecraft. Echoing that now famous line, "Houston, we've got a problem." The crew, with the help of ground control, performed a heroic lifeboat maneuver, successfully returning safely to Earth. Apollo 14. Launched on January 31, 1971, Apollo 14 carried astronauts Alan B. Shepard Jr., Edgar D. Mitchell, and Stuart A. Roosa.
Houston, while you're looking that up, you might recognize what I have in my hand as the handle for the contingency sample return. It just so happens to have a genuine 6 iron on the bottom of it. In my left hand, I have a little white pellet that's familiar to millions of Americans. Drop it down. Unfortunately, the suit is so stiff I can't do this with 2 hands, but I'm going to try a little sand trap shot here.
Alan Shepard famously hit a golf ball on the lunar surface, making him the first and only person to play golf on the moon. The mission marked the first use of the Modular Equipment Transporter, MET, enhancing astronauts' mobility on the lunar surface. Apollo 15. Launched on July 26, 1971, Apollo 15 carried astronauts David R. Scott, James B. Irwin, and Alfred M. Worden. The mission featured the first use of the Lunar Roving Vehicle, LRV, allowing astronauts to cover more ground and conduct extensive geological exploration. Controversy arose over the postal covers incident, where astronauts took unauthorized postal covers to sell as souvenirs, resulting in reprimands from NASA. Apollo 16. Launched on April 16, 1972, Apollo 16 carried astronauts John W. Young, Charles M. Duke Jr., and Thomas K. Mattingly II. Astronaut John Young drove the lunar rover, covering a distance of about 16 miles, 26 kilometers, during 3 moonwalks, collecting a vast array of lunar samples. The mission returned a record amount of lunar samples, totaling over 200 pounds, 90 kilograms, providing valuable insights into the Moon's geology. Apollo 17. Launched on December 7, 1972, Apollo 17 marked the final mission of the Apollo program, carrying astronauts Eugene A. Cernan, Harrison H. Schmitt, and Ronald E. Evans. Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt spent over 22 hours exploring the lunar surface, the longest stay of any Apollo mission. The mission's scientific instruments and experiments provided crucial data about the Moon's composition and geological history, concluding an era of human lunar exploration. The Apollo missions represent an unparalleled feat of human exploration, ingenuity, and determination. From the tragedy of Apollo 1 to the triumph of Apollo 11 and the scientific achievements of subsequent missions, the legacy of Apollo continues to inspire generations as humanity looks toward future voyages to the stars. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please consider liking, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell to stay updated on our latest uploads. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the remarkable history of the Apollo program.